Buenos dias. Good morning, everybody. In our packed to the rafters sanctuary. I'm Reverend Tim Kutzmark. This is not the official welcome. That's coming in just a moment. But I wanted to take a moment just to acknowledge that I know from so many of us, our hearts are heavy with fear for what's happening in Ukraine. And we will mark that moment during the service. I just wanted you to know that there will be an opportunity for us to take our hearts and place them with the Ukrainians. So thank you, and now I think we have our official welcome.
Hola, buenos dias. I'm Tina, and I've served gratefully as a member of your worship arts team. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California. Welcome to everyone on our virtual campus, and welcome to everyone on our Alluvial Ave Church campus. We are one congregation in many places. This morning, we acknowledge that our Alluvial Ave Church campus sits within the traditional homelands of the Yokuts and Mono peoples. As Unitarian Universalists, we welcome you no matter your race, culture of origin, age, spiritual background, or religious beliefs. We welcome you no matter your disabilities, the amount of money in your bank account, your level of education, or your neurodiversity. You are welcome with or without documentation. As Unitarian Universalists, we not only open our doors to people of all sexual orientations and gender identities, we value diversity of sexuality and gender and see it as a spiritual gift. Todos son bienvenidos aquí. If you are on our virtual campus and you wish to share a personal joy, sorrow, concern, or gratitude on both the virtual campus and Alluvial Ave campuses, type it now in the chat box. This is the moment. We'll give them to Tim so he can include them later in the service. Our worship theme for the month of February is Widening the Circle, which means that this morning we will explore widening the circle of our generosity. Today's service is the kickoff of our annual pledge drive. The annual pledge drive is when members and friends of the church, that's you and me, let the staff know how much we will generously share in terms of financial support during the upcoming fiscal year, which runs from July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. Your pledge allows us to build our budget based on the total amount of money we expect to be donated from the church's members and friends. If this is your first time with us, or you are new or newish to all of the fabulousness that is the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California, you are in for a special treat as you bear witness to this congregation pledging to renew itself for another year. The service itself is about the spiritual practice of generosity. We've got some wonderful music from church members and from two National Unitarian Universalist musicians joining us from the East Coast and the Upper Midwest. Now, in the chat box, in person at Alluvial Ave, or in the silent sacredness of your heart, let's take a moment to safely greet one another.
Again, a big welcome to everybody here at Alluvial Ave. Let me hear a whoop from Alluvial Ave here. And to everyone on our virtual campus, let's hear a whoop on our virtual campus. Wow, amazing. Let's let the sound of the Tingsha carry us to that quiet and knowing place within that believes that despite and in the face of so much uncertainty, there is goodness, there is love, and there is hope in this world.
We're bound to start? Good morning. My name is Lori Tidyman-Jones, and I'm a member of the worship arts team. Mi nombre es Lori Tidyman-Jones y soy miembro del equipo de artes de oración. Greetings to everyone on the Alluvial campus, and greetings to all of you on the virtual campus. I wish I could see you. For you virtual folks, if you have a candle or chalice, bring it close as we'll have the opportunity to light it pretty soon. This morning is the kickoff to our annual pledge drive. If I'm honest, I don't like talking about money, and you probably don't like it either. But the pledge drive isn't really about money, I decided. It's about recognizing what our church means to us, celebrating what it gives to us, and then doing what we can to keep it alive for another year. So I've been reflecting on what walking with you and this entire church has meant to me and what I celebrate about it. During this COVID-influenced year, and that's an understatement, I was able to continue with the support and challenge of my Chalice Circle and my Caring Circle groups, and I celebrate the friendships that have evolved from that. Being trusted to participate in worship has challenged me creatively and allowed me to do something I truly love to do. Participating in the spiritual retreat with Tim nurtured me deeply, and I celebrate that I can participate in such a spiritual experience without dogma. Enlisting in opportunities for service provided, like mud and taping a future home or covering the orchard with cardboard, helps me make a difference, and I celebrate the friendships, relationships that come with the territory. And the list goes on and on. With my reflection, I know that I want to make certain we continue together this year and will determine how I can do that both financially and personally. In that spirit, I invite you to light your chalice or candle at home. And Tim, if you're ready to light the chalice here.
Lori, I am more than ready.
He has lit the room. Please stand in body or spirit and join in the singing the song of praise, Gather the Spirit.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gather the Spirit, harvest the power. Our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour. Our trials in this life appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the spirit of heart and mind. Seeds for the sowing are laid in store. Nurtured in love and conscience refined. With body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again.
I invite us to remain standing as we say together the words of this church's mission statement. La misión de la Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de Fresno es amar inclusivamente, crecer espiritualmente, servir con gratitud y trabajar por la justicia. The mission of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno is to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice.
Hello. My name is Betty Prang. This is Ruth Jenkins, and we serve as co-chairs for this year's annual pledge drive. The pledge drive is when we ask all of our members and friends to make a pledge of financial support for the upcoming fiscal year. Knowing how much money we have that we will all share with the church allows Reverend Tim to finalize a budget based on the real dollars we can expect.
Our team has been working behind the scenes since late October, committed to securing your financial support.
Yep.
Batteries.
There it is. Try it again. Try it again.
Yep. No. You hear?
I don't hear.
Yeah.
Speaking to it. Talking to it.
Okay, this is so important. I'm going to do it twice.
No, it's not on.
Just come to the podium.
Here.
Our team is nothing if not flexible. Our team has been working behind the scenes since late October, committed to securing your financial support necessary to fund our future so that together we can thrive. With the kickoff today, we want to introduce you to our annual pledge drive team.
We turn you over to Reverend Tim, and then you'll meet the team and hear why we support the church financially.
Greetings, friends. Buenos dias, amigos. Before we kick off our annual pledge drive season, we'd like to take a moment to introduce you to the talented and extraordinary team of volunteers who make up our wonderful pledge drive team.
Over the past 2 years, we've all had to adjust and make changes.
Some of us stopped attending in-person services.
While some of us have discovered the church for the first time from afar.
We have been fortunate and also suffered setbacks.
Funding our future is as important as ever before.
We want to maintain and grow our virtual presence,
as well as support our staff and physical campus,
and to continue our work for justice,
while sustaining our loving and socially conscious community
in the Central Valley and beyond.
We are all grateful that we can be together,
whether virtually or in person.
Because here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno,
we know that together we thrive.
Muchas gracias. Thank you to our wonderful pledge drive team, and thank you to you, our church community, as we kick off Pledge Drive 2022.
What brought me to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno was my parents. We actually joined when I was about 3 years old, and the story goes that we arrived and Bernadette Siegel embraced me with open arms and just made our family feel very welcome. And so, the rest is history, as they say. More recently, as an adult, as I've gotten re-engaged, it's been great to connect with people that are like-minded and share my values, and maybe in the same stage of life as me, but maybe in different stages, and learning from people and being in community with them has really made a big difference in our lives. Now that I'm a parent, I'm so excited about being engaged in a new way in our church community by helping involve my daughter Abby and our future son in the church. I can't wait for us to get to the point where we're comfortable coming back in person. I think if we can continue investing in technology so that the experience for those that are joining us virtually, that would be helpful. And just continuing to kind of check in with people where their comfort level is and how they want to be engaged. The thing that's important to me moving forward is that our church continues focusing on building an inclusive and welcoming congregation in Fresno. I think that we've started this work, but we still have a long way to go to make our congregation match the ethnic and cultural and socioeconomic diversity of the city. And also that we just continue doing the important social justice work that we do in our community. We need people's talents and gifts to be shared with our church, and the gift of their time. And we also just need the nuts and bolts to be paid for, obviously. So in any way that people are able to give is incredibly valuable.
And if we could bring down the pulpit mic, please, Nico. Thank you. As Brian Jessup would say, coyote is in our technology today. I invite us to take a nice deep breath in and a second deep breath in, breathing in peace and breathing out love. We take another breath in, breathing in peace. We hold the moment, we breathe out love. And because of the week it's been, let's take one more deep breath in, breathing in peace. We hold the moment, we breathe out love. As we continue breathing, allowing that breath to just ground us and center us. The breath can bring us back to ourselves, even when microphones screech or don't turn on. Just keep breathing, bringing yourself back to that knowing, grounded place that is within. And as we breathe, a question. In the last week, how did kindness touch your life? The last week, how did kindness touch your week, your life? We carry those memories and so much more into this sacred time of sharing. We share joys and sorrows, gratitudes and concerns. And as I shared at the beginning of the service, most of us walked into the space or woke up in your homes with a heavy heart for what is occurring in the Ukraine, an unprovoked and unjust invasion, creating death and a humanitarian crisis as refugees flee out of Ukraine. And as we know, we are yet again at the brink of a possible world war. All across the world, people are hanging Ukrainian flags. They are playing the national anthem to show solidarity. And as a people of faith, I felt that we should do the same. And so in a moment, Lorenzo is going to play the national anthem of Ukraine. The lyrics will appear on the screen, so we might want to lower the lights just a bit, Nico. And out of respect and solidarity, please rise in body or spirit for the playing of the Ukrainian national anthem as I light a yellow candle and a blue candle for the people of Ukraine. Please be seated. We carried not only our concern for Ukraine into the sanctuary, but some of us, both on our virtual campus as well as in our in-person Alluvial Ave campus, shared some personal joys, concerns, or sorrows. And as the blank screen appears, Jody Palmer is feeling quite grateful for all the wonderful group of volunteers who worked on the landscape yesterday. Debbie, Mark, David, Luca, Vince, Sarah, and Dawn. And Anna and Mike Simonian are relieved and grateful that their 3-year-old baby, Robbie, is recovering from a viral infection after several days in pediatric critical care. And we send little Robbie our love, our light, and our prayers. Claire is feeling grateful and joyful. She got to see her brother for her birthday and have her favorite meal, paella. And Peter walked into the sanctuary with a concern and a sorrow. The Texas Governor Greg Abbott is calling on licensed professionals and members of the general public to report the parents of transgender minors to state authorities if it appears the minors are receiving gender-affirming medical care. Abbott's letter follows an opinion released Monday by the Attorney General of Texas, which states that allowing minors to receive transition care is child abuse under state law. If this troubles you greatly, type M for monstrous in the chat box. We remember our beloveds, those who are struggling with health or mobility, especially Judy P., Molly K., Glenda R., Pat M., and I'm happy to see that Al G. is with us today. Hooray, good to see you. Welcome again. I'm happy to report that Brandon, the son of our administrator Jody Baker, is home after 2 months of hospital care after his accident. There's still a long rehabilitation road ahead, but he is home, and that is cause for celebration. This week, at the 10th anniversary of the murder of 17-year-old Trayvon Martin, we saw accountability for the 3 police who stood by and allowed George Floyd to slowly die from a knee on his throat. They were found guilty of the federal charges of violating Mr. Floyd's civil rights. The 3 white men who gunned down a jogging Ahmaud Arbery were also found guilty of federal hate crime charges this week. And this week also began the trial that could possibly provide an opportunity for there to be accountability in the police shooting death of Breonna Taylor. Hashtag say her name. And I remind you, accountability is not justice. If there was justice, they would not be dead. And as Black History Month draws to a close, history was made this week with Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's nomination to fill the vacant Supreme Court seat. Judge Jackson will be an outstanding addition to the Supreme Court. She is an eminently qualified nominee whose record indicates a deep commitment to public service and pursuing equal justice under the law. Her selection as the first ever Black woman nominated to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court is historic and long, long overdue. On the virtual campus, if you would like to celebrate this, please type JJ for Judge Jackson into the chat box. So for all that has been spoken aloud and shared, for all that we hold in the sacred silence of our own hearts, and for all those who have no one to speak their name this morning with gentleness or care, we light our candle of community. By our remembering, may we and they be blessed. We light a second candle this morning, as is our custom, for the 5.94 million citizens of the world who have lost their lives in this COVID pandemic. In the light of our candles, our call to meditation, we join our voices, meditation on breathing.
When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. Cuando respiro paz. Cuando exhalo amor. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Cuando respiro paz. Cuando exhalo amor. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Cuando respiro paz. Cuando exhalo amor.
Our words for prayer or reflection are well-known words from Oprah Winfrey. Let us pray. Open your heart and quietly to yourself say the only prayer, the only reflection that's ever needed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Gracias. Gracias. Muchas gracias.
Dem duere badu badu, dem duere badu badu, dem duere badu badu, dem duere badu we are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these the world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. Feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. Feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way.
Wow. Soy yo, Lori, otra vez. I'm back again. Often we think, I think glasses are going to make a difference here. Clearly. Often we think of generosity in terms of giving money or things, but I believe there's more to its essence. For example, generosity was a very important value demonstrated in my family and modeled by my parents. My parents gave money to charities regularly, religiously. But they also gave regularly of their time in service, volunteering. We were expected, the 4 daughters, we were expected to do the same, even if it was just a dime in the offering or helping make sandwiches for Poverello. And that went back to the days when Mike McGarvin didn't have the big entity it is now. Churches were providing the sandwiches at that time. My mother demonstrated generosity in her thoughtfulness and kindness. She would take notes after she'd spent time. Say a friend of mine came over, she would take notes afterwards, save those notes, and then when she thought she would see this person again, she would review the notes so that she could be knowledgeable and thoughtful with them, which always took people aback. How did you know that? And I think that it was about affirming others. For people's birthdays, she sent a card. She sent so many cards, probably 30 plus a month. And gifts were always just right. And I would take generosity one step further, and that's the generosity of the heart. When I stop and give an ear and listen to someone who is in need or down, when I text a hug meme to someone I know is hurting or in need of encouragement, when I look into the eyes of a stranger and acknowledge them with love and respect, these probably have the greatest impact, more than you'll ever know. They cost nothing and pay out eternally. As I mentioned earlier, I know that I want to make certain this church continues, and I will try to do so in all the iterations of generosity, of my spirit, in service, in kindness, and with financial support. In this spirit, please join me in our words of offering. If not us, then who? If not open hearts, then what? If not now, then when? If not here, then where? If not generously, then how? If not us, then who? Above, you will see slides showing how you can make a financial contribution right now on our virtual campus, Or if you are on the Alluvial Avenue campus, you have the above options and also the option to drop cash or a check into the basket on your way out. May we all continue to value this church community so much that we offer generously our many forms of gifts.
I'm going to give a moment for the band to step off. Normally we sing a hymn in this moment, and we're actually going to sing a hymn at the end of the shorter sermon. But here's a little tip. One of the reasons we usually sing a hymn here is because people have been sitting for a while. We want to give you an opportunity to stretch. So we're going to take a real quick stretch break. For those who wish, just rise in body or spirit. And let's do a left hand, a right hand, a left foot, a right foot. We can do both feet at the same time. We're amazing. And then the all-purpose butt wiggle. And then let's take a deep breath in, arms up, deep, deep, deep. And as we exhale, we can gently relax into our chairs. I knew I could be certain it would be there for me. I knew I could be certain it would be there for me. That is the voice of my grandpa Frank, my dad's dad. Grandpa Frank arrived at Ellis Island near the turn of the century in the womb of his 6-month pregnant mom, a refugee from Poland. Grandpa Frank was born 3 months later in the poor section of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a part of the city populated by Eastern European refugees, mostly from the Ukraine and Poland. Grandpa Frank had a 5th grade education, and at age 11 was thrown out of his home and left to fend for himself because his family was too poor to feed him. As a young man, Grandpa Frank fought in World War I, and then, like many Ukrainians and Poles, returned to Pittsburgh to poorly paid factory work in Pittsburgh's infamous steel mills. He married Frances, also proudly Polish, and soon came along my dad, born into the early days of the economic upheaval of the Great Depression. I knew I could be certain it would be there for me. Grandpa Frank was referring to Guardian Angels Parish, the little Polish Catholic church in the West End of Pittsburgh. It was founded around the same time Grandpa was left to fend for himself at age 11. The parish priest, who spoke only Polish, let 11-year-old Grandpa Frank sleep in the church sanctuary and gave him boiled potatoes and cabbage for dinner when Grandpa hadn't been able to scrounge up any food that day. Years later, Grandpa met and then married Frances at that church. His son, my dad, was baptized there. During the worst of the Depression, families gathered in the parish hall to combine the few vegetables they had into a watery soup that was still heartier than if they had not all joined their resources together. Guardian Angels Church also nurtured Grandpa Frank's dreams of economic justice. Union organizers secretly met there in the same sanctuary where Grandpa had slept as a boy And together, they strategized how to get the factory owners to pay better wages so they could thrive rather than just barely survive. Grandpa buried his wife Frances from that church. We buried Grandpa Frank from that church. We knew we could be certain it would be there for him. We need spiritual touch points in our lives, places where we can come to be reassured in uncertain times and together be challenged to help shape a brighter future. My dear ones, this is a time of uncertainty. We are entering the third year of the pandemic that for some of us seems to be waning, but there are whispers of the next variant just around the corner. This is a time of uncertainty. The political polarization facing this country is truly terrifying. A recent poll asked Americans to rank on a scale of 0 to 100 where they thought the country was in terms of heading toward a civil war. 0 being no risk, 100 being civil war is certain. The average of those polled put us at 70. 70. This is a time of uncertainty. Putin's despotic actions this week introduced the possibility of a world war reaching beyond the boundaries of the Ukraine. Just today, Ukraine put out a call for foreign fighters to join them in their fight for freedom. This is a time of uncertainty. But I am here to assure you of one thing. In this time of uncertainty, you can be certain that the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno will be here for you. In this time of pandemic, you can be certain that the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno will be here for you. In this time of racial reckoning and democracy under attack, you can be certain that the Unitarian Universalist Church for you. In this time of climate change, drought, and wildfire, you can be certain that the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno will be here for you. When your dear friends reach the end of their life journey and you want to gather together and celebrate their lives, you can be certain the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno will be here. When you want to find new friends, connections, and community, you can be certain that the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno will be here for you. When you want to remember that there is a love holding you, there's a love holding all that you love, you can be certain that the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno will be here for you. The only question is, in this time of uncertainty, can we be certain that you will be here for the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno? Will you be here for the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno? As we've already heard multiple times, today is the beginning of our annual pledge drive. We enter this hallowed time when members, friends, and first-time financial supporters of this church ensure that for another year, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno continues to thrive as a beacon of liberal religious values in the conservative Central Valley. Funding our future compels us to talk about money. But thriving together is not about money. It's about something larger, our congregation's mission to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice. Can you say this with me? Amar inclusivamente, crecer espiritualmente, servir con gratitud y trabajar por la justicia. It takes money to fund this mission. A church can't sustain itself on good intentions as much as we wish it could. It needs generous contributions. We ask each other to pledge what we can for the next fiscal year, which begins on July 1st. From the total of those pledges, we finalize a budget to sustain our spiritual community for one more year. A new member asked me last week, what is required to fund our future so we can thrive together for another year? Well, we need $612,892 for what is a lean budget. For a year of Sunday morning services, we need over $177,000 to cover staff, equipment, and supplies so we can broadcast the Sunday service live from the sanctuary into our virtual campus. This means you will continue to have a choice. Come in person or participate from your home. If you like having that choice, and you think it feels awesome, type the letter A in the comment box, the chat box. To strengthen our children's religious exploration programming and hire a new full-time religious education professional, because we cannot thrive with our currently understaffed program, we need almost $78,000. Are you uplifted by the music each Sunday? Yeah, okay. For that alone, we need $45,000 a year. Do you like the beauty and the serenity of our church campus? Yeah, okay. We need $133,000 a year to cover our mortgage. Lights, air conditioning, water, and other utilities require $41,000. Now, if we take and divide the entire budget up by the number of pledging members and friends, the average cost per member is about $2,670. Now, many people give much, much more because they have the ability to do so. Some pledge tens of thousands of dollars. Others pledge in the $5,000 to $12,000 range. Other in the several thousand range. Others pledge several $100s. There are some who pledge so generously at $1 a week for a total of $52 a year because they want to support their church even though they're just struggling to make ends meet. And there are those who just can't spare anything right now, and that's okay, but who try to find ways to give their time, limited though it may be. Now, I want to be clear. I want to be really clear. Everyone is welcome at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, no matter our financial circumstances. There is no charge to be a member or friend. There is no admission fee to step into the virtual sanctuary or our Alluvial Ave sanctuary, because those who have more pledge more for those of us in tighter financial situations. That is what it means to be a community bound together by love. Now, I pledge, don't ask anything of you that I won't do myself. Every year, I make a pledge as well. Last year, I pledged over 6% of my pre-tax salary right back to you because I care about this church and its mission. So I pledged last year a total of $6,267. This year, the Pledge Drive team is asking those of us who currently pledge, if possible, to increase our pledge by 3% or more so we can fund a modest increase in the budget. So this year, I decided to increase my pledge by 5% to add a little extra for someone who can't. To you, to us, to the members and friends and our new financial supporters, hopefully, I pledge $6,580. If you too will join me and commit to making a financial pledge of any amount, please type P in the chat box on our virtual campus, and here in the sanctuary, you could just pretend that you're pressing P. There we go. We should have all that fun as well. Now, sharing in a church community is different than giving to a charity. It's different than writing a check to Planned Parenthood, the ACLU, or Citizens Climate Lobby. Those contributions are essential, but this church is different from charities and social change organizations. Like my grandpa did when he was young and vulnerable, this church is the place we come to when the cares and worries of life seem too much for us. This is the church where we come to recharge our batteries and our weary spirits. This is the place we come to weep and the place we come when we need to laugh and sing again. This is the place we come when we are overwhelmed by the headlines. And who hasn't been overwhelmed by the headlines multiple times? This church is the place we come to let go of dogma and damnation. This church is the place we come to be recalled to our best selves again. This is the place we come to create good trouble. This is the place that inspires us to build a tiny home for someone who has no place to sleep. And this is the place that lets us join together to sponsor an Afghan refugee family here in Fresno. This is the place that is big enough to hold all our doubts, questions, and answers. And this is the place that is small enough to want to know us by name. This is the place where we can come to find God, or Spirit, or Source, or our humanity. This is the place that we come to be reminded that we are good and that we are loved. This is the place we come to be challenged to take our love and share it with the world. This is a place we come to feel the long-time sun shine upon us, to feel love surround us, and to touch that pure light within us that guides our way on. Why do I pledge to this church? Why do you pledge to this church? Why do we pledge for this church? We pledge our support because we believe in this church. We believe in Unitarian Universalism. We believe in the power of human hearts to love more broadly and love more boldly. Let's join together in proclaiming this belief in loving broadly and boldly, using these words based on our 7 Unitarian Universalist principles, the core of our faith. They come from the Reverend Scotty Alexander adapted, and as the band begins to return for our hymn, please loudly and proudly speak the words in italics, either from Alluvial Ave or from our virtual campus. And please say the words in italics. In a world with so much hatred and violence, we need a place that proclaims the inherent worth and dignity of every person. In a world with so much brutality and fear, we need a place, people that seek justice, equity, and what happened to the slides? Did we just lose them? Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's back up. Okay, where are we? We are in a world with so much brutality and fear, we need a people to seek justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. In a world with so many people abused and neglected, we need a religion that calls us to accept one another and encourage one another to spiritual growth. In a world with so much dogmatism and falsehood, we need a place that challenges us to a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. In a world with so much tyranny and oppression, we need a people that affirm the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process. In a world with so much inequality and strife, we need a religion that strives toward the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. In a world with so much environmental degradation, we need a place that advocates respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. In a world with so much uncertainty and despair, we need a religion that teaches our hearts to hope and our hands to serve. Can we say that again? We need a religion that teaches our hearts to hope and our hands to serve. Let's now rise in body or spirit and sing right here.
2, 3, 4.
Traveled far to be right here where we are. Reach out a hand, no need to fear, 'cause all we need is right here. All we need, all we need, all we need is right here. All we need, all we need, all we need is right here. The night was dark, but the day is bright. Together we can lift our eyes to all the love and we hold dear, 'cause all we need is right here. All we need, all we need, all we need is right here. All we need, all we need, all we need is right here. All we all we need, all we need is right here. All we need, all we need, all we need is right here.
Woo. Please be seated.
Hi again, hola. I'm Betty Prang, and this is Ruth Jenkins, co-chairs of our annual pledge drive. Ruth and I are here to ask you, in the spirit of generosity, to make your financial pledge to the church today.
We ask because all we need is right here. Our beloved community of love and spiritual growth, our commitment to service and justice. But we need your financial help, whether you are on the Alluvial campus or on our virtual campus.
If possible, increase your pledge. We're hoping for a 3% increase. If you've never pledged, please begin your financial support of our church today.
Most of us should have received our pledge packet in the mail, but if not, email us at pledge@uufresno.org and let us know. We'll mail one out to you right away. Even better and faster, go to the website, www.uufresno.org, and click on the red Annual Pledge Drive tab to see all the drive information. That is www.uufresno.org. And even faster than that is to email your yearly pledge amount to pledge@uufresno.org right now.
If you are on our virtual campus, we especially need your financial generosity to fund the professionals who make that campus possible through our state-of-the-art audio-visual technology.
If you brought your pledge card with you to the Alluvial campus today, please drop it in the hat as you leave the sanctuary. Pledge team members will be easy to spot. Look for them in the sparkling hats. If you forgot or need a pledge card on our Alluvial campus, just stop at the pledge drive table outside in the breezeway. If you want, we can even remind you what you pledged last year.
If you are on our virtual campus, email us at pledge@uufresno.org. By helping to fund our future, together we will thrive.
And now, as the official kickoff moment of our annual pledge drive, we have the sheer pleasure of announcing our leadership pledging amount. The leadership pledging amount comes from 32 congregants who serve on the Board of Trustees, the annual pledge drive team, or are the volunteer team leaders of our program areas in the church. Drum roll, please. We kick off our annual pledge drive with $125,213. That is 20.43% of our goal of $612,892. We only have $487,679 to go. So make your pledge today.
Now, as we reaffirm our financial commitment to our church, please rise in body and spirit and join in singing one of our favorite hymns, The Fire of Commitment.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and souls ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living brings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
Please be seated.
Wow. If you would join me for a second to just applaud Tim for that fiery, fiery sermon. My thoughts about finances were just going up as he... It's been such an honor to be with all of you today at the Alluvial and on our virtual campus. My week now begins with joy, peace, fire, and gratitude, and I hope yours does too. As we prepare to leave the service and continue our afternoon, please join me in our chalice extinguishing words. Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad, o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts. And Tim, I believe you have some reminders before closing words.
I do, but first let's give it up for Laurie as our worship associate. I'm going to be so brief. Exiting, please allow our socially distanced folks to leave first through the door where the sparkly hats are, and then the rest of us, please follow them out. Coffee hour in the sunshine. It's a gorgeous day here in Fresno. Please stay, especially if you're newer to the church. This is how you connect and begin to make friends. And my final reminder is PLEDGE, pledge. Thank you. We have a tradition that we invite folks who are here for the first, second, or third time to rise for a moment so that we can recognize you and welcome you. We don't do it to embarrass you. We are gosh darn so happy that on a day like today, you chose to visit us. So if this is your first, second, or third time, could you rise for just a moment? We won't leave you standing alone for long. Welcome, welcome back, welcome, and I invite the rest of the congregation to rise with them. If you're here in a pod, please join hands. If you're here on your own on Alluvial, hands over your heart. At the virtual campus, you can put your hands wherever you'll want them. Go now in peace. May you leave this place knowing you are good and knowing you are loved. Take your love from this place, share it with the world. Stay safe until we meet again. And may the longtime sun shine upon you. All love surrounds you. And that pure light that is within you guide your way on. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
1, 2, 3, 4.
May we have safe passage, safe passage. May we have safe passage on our way. Safe passage passage on your way, wanderers, safe passage on your way. Searcher, safe passage on your way, sweet pilgrim, safe passage on our way. May we have safe passage, safe, safe passage. May we have safe passage on your way.
Shalom and assalamu alaikum.
2, 3, 4.